Despite all the progress, AI still breaks in high-stakes settings, hallucinating, losing context, and failing on complex reasoning. Context layers are a promising approach to dealing with these problems, but they're often too effortful and labor-intensive to be practical. That all changes with HipAI. Our platform allows the completely automated creation of context layers in literal minutes. We connect a dataset stored in a relational database, in this case Snowflake, to our platform by simply providing the credentials and clicking build. In less than an hour, sometimes in as fast as about 10 minutes, our platform examines the database and creates a knowledge graph summary of the features of the data, as well as capturing how to access them. Importantly, multiple datasets or databases can be included in a single context layer, meaning the data features are automatically joined across them, and that includes corpuses of free text and unstructured data. This dataset is taken from a benchmark published in 2023 to show how large language models struggle with real-world business questions, and in this case, it's derived from the insurance industry. The questions are quite technical and challenging, even for a person to answer. For example, what is the average loss of each policy by policy number, where loss is the sum of loss payment, loss reserve, expense payment, and expense reserve amounts? The agent first examines the HipAI context layer to find the relevant data, prepare the correct queries, and then synthesize the data retrieved to achieve the right answer. Even though it was published 2 years ago, this benchmark is still relevant because GPT-5 on its own only gets about half of the questions in the benchmark correct. However, if you give GPT-5 a HipAI context layer, that performance jumps up to 84%. And we've seen similar leaps in performance across datasets, even when they include unstructured data. As a comparison, let's look at how Snowflake Cortex operates on the same exact data located in the database. If we ask Cortex Analyst the same exact questions on the same exact data, we get a very different result. In fact, Cortex Analyst gives up on 90% of the questions in the benchmark because it explains the semantic model that it built for the data is insufficient to cover the cases when the answer to the question requires joining data across multiple tables. It does, however, end up getting 4 of the 44 questions in the benchmark correct because they don't require complicated joins. HipAI excels at mapping complex data sets in minutes, allowing agents to be much more capable at handling the toughest real-world high-stakes questions.